Doctors of Reddit, what is something that you wish everyone knew about their body? You need some kind of exercise. Doesn't matter how you feel right now, sitting for 12 to 16 hours a day will have negative consequences. Some things just don't belong in your rectum. Edit, woke up to a whole lot of upvotes, goddamn. This is a first for me. So not sure what to do with it, but thanks for the platinum, and just to be clear, no, I'm not a doctor. Just a concerned citizen who's spent entirely too much time on the internet. That administering CPR compressions ASAP is one of the greatest indicators of successful outcomes. Had a guy roll in post-Torsades arrest. The guy behind him at the DMV when he went down was an ICU nurse who started compressions within seconds and got the AED attached. Patient came in talking with his only complaint being chest pain from the compressions. I wouldn't have believed it if the medics hadn't given me the rhythm strip. You often will feel normal even with high blood pressure. It's often found incidentally. So don't wait until it gives you symptoms you don't want to go through. Edit, to all those wondering how to figure out if it's asymptomatic. Get checked at least once a year if you're over 35. Why? There's no other way. Edit 2, thank you for the silver and gold kind strangers. Don't do DIY surgery or hold off on reporting things that are obvious warning signs. Don't be the guy who tried to remove his skin cancer with a knife. Doctors hate him. They really do. This is going to sound really basic, but I wish my patients would know what meds they are on when they come to the hospital. At least once a day comes somebody in who goes, yeah, I take 8 pills in the morning, 3 in the evening, and 4 at lunch, but don't ask me which. You're a doctor, you should know. I beg of you, before going to a doctor that has never seen you before, write your meds, doses and all on a piece of paper. Edit. I was on shift and just now noticed that this blew up. Just to clarify, I work in Germany on the internal medicine ward. I can only see patients' record if they were in my hospital or in the neighboring hospital, otherwise I have to call their family doc, who may or may not be at all times available. I mostly just send a family member home to bring the goodies bag so that we can go over them, but as you can imagine, that takes a lot of time. Thank you for the silvers. I shall treasure them forever. Your kidneys and liver cheerfully do all the toxin elimination you'll ever need. Cleanses and other detoxifying products are bullshit woo and a waste of money. The people who sell them are predators who only care about your money becoming theirs. Vaginas are self-cleaning and douching does more harm than good because it flushes out all the good bacteria that's meant to be there. Edit, I made this comment at 2 a.m. and my eyes skipped over the part where it says Doctors of Reddit, oops. I'm not a doctor, just a person with a vagina who's tired of all the unhealthy vaginal misconceptions. Also, when you go to wash down there, use soap without fragrance and clean just the outside. Kinda similar to how full water changes on your aquarium remove most of the good nitrifying bacteria in there and thus should be avoided. The vagina is basically an aquarium. Edit, first off, wow. I was not expecting this to blow up overnight, so thanks for the coinage. Second, yes, I know that most of your good bacteria is in your substrate and on your decor and your filter media, but that wouldn't be as funny. Even still, you're not doing 100% water changes every week, are you? And lastly, for everyone commenting, that's why it smells fishy, lololol, no. If you are taking proper care of your aquarium, it should smell like clean water and happiness. Same for that other thing, probably. My phone is acting up, so if this has already been posted I apologize, but women, please do not use soap or douching products inside your vagina. It has a delicate pH balance and this is how you get yeast infections. Wash your labia, but do not clean internally. The vagina is self-cleaning just like your eyeballs. Do you wash your eyeballs? No. Do you wash your face? Yes. The vagina is self-cleaning, just like your eyeballs. Do you wash your eyeballs? No. This is a great way to explain it. How to check for skin cancer. If you see any moles or anything that are A. Asymmetrical. B. Border, odd borders, like they're jagged or something. C. Color, different colors. D. Diameter, grows. E. Evolve, well, evolves. Go get it checked out. It might be skin cancer. Many simpler diseases in the body can be compared to a car. When you don't get regular checkups and take regular care, it's not like you'll notice something bad happening right away. Just like how you won't notice a missed oil change a couple thousand miles later. But diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, alcohol dependence, etc., they all sneak up on you. Just like how eventually, that engine won't run as smooth. The second thing is that your body isn't like a TV remote, where you pop out the old batteries and put in some new ones. You can't expect to come into a hospital and walk out feeling 100%. People have some unrealistic expectations of what doctors can do, and there is research which demonstrates how TV shows provide the public with these false beliefs. I'm a Grey's fan also, but it's not real medicine. The first-line treatment for most of our common diseases is, wait for it, lifestyle modification. It's not drugs. It's not surgery. 50% of newly diagnosed type 2 diabetics do not require anything more than diet and exercise. Cessation of smoking is the second best thing you can do for your health, and every little amount you decrease smoking has a profound impact. Again, you won't see it now, but you'll see it down the road, like the oil change. And if you do need meds, like how most will eventually need meds for their blood pressure, don't play around with it. Take it every day. Hypertension is called the silent killer. You can't really feel your blood pressure. But it's slowly damaging every artery and every organ in your body. And that comes down to the last point. Exercising is the key to a better life. If you put in the work, there is no upper limit. That's not an exaggeration, but the findings of a landmark paper that made news everywhere last October: not exercising is worse than smoking, diabetes, or coronary artery disease. It is the single best thing you can do for a healthier life. Your health is a shared responsibility, and we're here to help. This may not be the flashiest Reddit comment, but this one may actually save your life. Edit. So I'm getting a lot of great questions on what are good exercises and how long should you be exercising. This is probably the single most asked question I get from my parents' friends and random strangers. Unfortunately, it's a bit complicated. I could go on quoting tons of papers from a variety of sources, but that would be difficulty to parse though. An exercise regimen should ideally be set by a medical professional specifically for you. It may vary based on your age, occupation, underlying health conditions, fitness goals, etc. I couldn't give a 60-year-old with COPD the same instructions as a 25-year-old. I don't want to say something in a Reddit comment that would end up hurting you or your loved one, so I won't go into specifics. The generic advice we give to our older patients is to walk at a brisk pace, enough for a mild sweat. There is some evidence to show that even normal walking can significantly help improve your cardiac health. I'm only focusing on cardiovascular health here, and there are other things to consider with exercise. I don't want to sound annoying, but I really feel it's best you talk to your doctor about what else you can do to improve your health. We'd be glad to walk you through a plan made specifically for you. Also, regarding number of steps per day. The 10,000 steps number is unscientific and largely propagated by the pedometer-making industry. First, it should be age-adjusted. It also doesn't directly correlate with losing weight. However, personally, as someone approaching 30, I do like 10,000. It's a nice clean number and I can make a game out of it for myself. It is important to note that this is not for everyone. My dad was diagnosed with diabetes a few months ago and was told to lose weight. Apparently his doctor was shocked when he came back for a follow-up visit 20 pounds lighter and on a diet. According to the doctor, almost nobody actually follows that advice. Where the orifice each gender urinates through really is. Antibiotics are not some magic cure for every pain in your body, nor for the flu or common cold. Never ever boil breast milk. In my country there is a popular belief that breast milk jaundice in newborns can be treated by boiling one's breast milk, but by doing this you destroy all the nutrients and it basically becomes as nutritious as water is. Do not give honey to children below the age of 1. Do not rub your child with rubbing alcohol as to lower his furor. Baby wipes don't substitute daily baths, showers. Yes, I am a pediatrician. That the immune system is an incredibly complex and nuanced organization of cells that communicates readily to destroy anything deemed hostile within the body. It helps explain why vaccines are supposed to work, why allergies come and go, and why transfusions, transplants are hard to successfully pull off. Edit: a lot of people are asking how allergies work, so here is a brief explanation using pollen allergic rhinitis as an example. Your immune system senses pollen in the body. It doesn't appear to be one of your cells, so the B cell collects samples of it, relays it to a helper T cell, which in turn helps specialize the B cell to become one of two cells, effector and memory cells. Effectors mass produce antibodies, while memory cells are reserved for future invasions. This is why initial exposure to a new substance may not necessarily trigger allergic responses. The signal is still weak as the immune system is still acclimating to a foreign particle. Antibodies flood the pollen particles and signal for basophils, mast cells, to release histamine, the hormone responsible for inflammatory responses. This is where the runny noses and sneezing come into play, and for more severe allergies, anaphylactic shock. Allergies may fade out over time for several reasons. When exposed to a non-threatening level of an allergy for a long enough time, the body decides that it's not really a threat anymore. Furthermore, as people age, the immune system weakens, making it harder to detect and overreact to allergies. I'm a dentist, and if you don't take care of your gums, your teeth will fall out of your head and you'll get pissed at me when your jawbone atrophies and your denture doesn't fit anymore. Edit: essentially periodontitis causes inflammation and recession of the gums, which in turn cause inflammation and recession of bone. After that, teeth start getting mobile and falling out. Edit 2: I appreciate you all asking questions and trying to improve your oral health, but without doing an exam and x-rays there's very little I can actually recommend other than using one of those new patient coupons you get from every dentist in the neighborhood to get checked out. Also, I love that dentists aren't D0 Court 0 RZ comments LMAO. I'll think about them when I do the 2 surgeries I have planned tomorrow, smiley face. That they only have one and their behavior now, drinking, smoking, not taking medicines, or whatever, will impact their life quality and expectancy, sounds logical, but very few patients really realize it. I'm a vet, but I'm sure some doctors will have come across this too: amputated limbs do not grow back. I've had far too many people asking how long it will take for their pet's amputated limb to grow back, so I'm assuming a few doctors out there will have had patients asking the same of their own missing limbs. Baby doctor here, about to graduate: unless you have liver or kidney failure, your body detoxes itself really well. Don't get scammed by these detox teas and whatever. Edit: I mean that I'm a baby cause I'm just starting out, not that I'm a doctor of babies, just to be clear. I won't specialize for a while yet. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. If you could keep track of the assorted parts you've had removed or added, that'd be very helpful. I'm not saying you need to know whether your fundoplication was a Nissan or a door, but if you're complaining about belly pain, it would be nice to know that the last time you had belly pain they took out your gallbladder, appendix, sigmoid colon. And if you've ever had something implanted, and they gave you a little card? That's not warranty information, that tells us if you're going to explode if you go in an MRI. Bring it. Otherwise it will be Googled. Type 2 diabetes is more serious than most people realize. I work as a doctor in hemodialysis and most of them are due to diabetic nephropathy. It also affects your eyes, nerves, immune system, etc. Simple life changes can help you, but no one seems to care. I even lost 9 kilograms myself because I had a family history of diabetes and to be healthy. Edit: wow, thanks for the silver stranger. I didn't expect this comment to be big, but please take care of yourselves people, because it is really sad for us doctors to see people get ill because of a preventable illness. Also, there are lots of good subreddits for people trying to make a lifestyle change. You and your body deserve better. Edit 2: changed diabetes to type 2 diabetes for clarification. Changed easy to simple. Ejaculating blood happens to most people at least once in their lives, and in 99% of cases it resolves without taking any action within a week. It doesn't even warrant a doctor visit. Peeing blood, for both sexes, is a serious medical emergency and you should immediately go to the ER. People think it's the other way around. Drink water. Some people seem to think that if you act healthy for a bit, it'll make up for being a wreck. There are so many things wrong with this. Just one example: antioxidants are like gas for your car. You can store up a certain amount of vitamins, but your tank can only hold so much. If you binge and overfill your tank, it doesn't do anything, you excrete it out as waste, and you can't expect to go the next several months without gas just because you tried to overload it before. You're going to still need to get gas. Same goes for your fruits and veggies. Had someone tell me he went vegetarian for a few weeks, which meant he was done for the year. He was dead serious. Had a patient at risk for heart failure try to insist that if she stayed away from salt entirely for X days, weeks, she should be able to have her fill of McDonald's fries and ramen. Had a smoker argue that if he stopped for some time, he should be able to smoke freely for a while. With some digging, stopping turned out to mean a couple less cigarettes a day. I think there are a lot of obvious ones, like how lifestyle choices in your 20s impact your health and quality of life in your 40s. It would help if more patients knew their family history, though not everyone has this opportunity, unfortunately. Prevention is becoming more and more important in medicine, and treating a disease in its early stages is a lot better than catching it late. If you have family members who had ovarian or colon cancer in their 30s, that is very significant for your own risk. The screening and tests we run might change, depending. If you want to start the pill, it's important to know about breast cancer, DVTs, clotting disorders in the family. If you're a bit overweight and have no metabolic syndrome problems in the family, compared to a bit overweight but both your parents have type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, the management priorities change. Asking your family about any recurring diseases or diseases that occurred early, 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, can be helpful. There are certain common conditions that are underdiagnosed but easily fixed. Even if you have non-specific symptoms, it doesn't hurt to tell your doctor during the next visit. About 5% of U.S. adults have an iron deficiency which can cause loss of concentration and fatigue, and a huge amount are vitamin D deficient. When I am able to complete a systems review, ask screening questions about every different body system, I end up discovering a lot of irritable bowel syndrome, hypothyroidism, insomnia, joint pain, headaches, etc. that impact quality of life. But people don't bring it up because they don't want to be a bother, or think the symptoms are too vague. It's not a bother, and often, but not always, these conditions have simple treatments which can really improve how you feel. Not a doctor but am a trauma nurse. Motorcycles are fucking awesome, but they are also death machines. Don't ever get on a fucking motorcycle, but if you do anyway, wear a fucking helmet. Not just a helmet but all the proper gear: leather jacket, motorcycle pants and shoes. A t-shirt and flip-flops will not protect you if you go down. Dress for the slide, not for the ride. You only get one body. The way you treat it has a significantly higher impact in how your health will end up in a decade than what sort of interventions we can give you. You really should treat your body like a temple. Edit, it's a saying, y'all. If you want, treat it like a family heirloom, bonsai, or your favorite china. Edit 2, the original question is asking what I wished more people knew about their body. I answered this by saying I wish they would do more self-care, advice that is easier said than done. This means keeping up with mental and physical health, eating well, exercising, and not utilizing tobacco, nicotine, drinking to an excess, or other substances. I am in no way advocating for avoiding the use of prescribed medicines or advice given to you by your own primary care provider. I wonder how many of these answers are from actual doctors. I don't know. I just play one on Reddit. Not a doctor, but this information could save a life. In an emergency situation where you are giving first aid, CPR to someone instead of stating general instructions to the group of inevitable onlookers like someone call 911, someone get a defibrillator, point, if able otherwise some other form of direction, to someone and say, you call 911, and you find a defibrillator. This prevents the bystander syndrome where people think someone else will probably do that, and gives clear instructions allowing for a more efficient process where literally seconds could mean life or death. Sorry, I know I'm joining late, I had to make an account. Actually a doctor. I wish people would know that when I say, I don't think CPR is in your relative's best interests, I am not saying I am going to withdraw all treatment immediately. CPR is brutal, and it has a much lower success rate, even if done promptly in hospital, than the movies make out. If you are old, or have a lot of medical problems, then the success rate goes down even more. If I don't want to do CPR on you, it's not because I want you to die, it's because I don't want to fracture your ribs, expose your body to a huge group of people you don't know. Everyone loves attending a crash call, and repeatedly assault your dead body for nothing. I want you to die with dignity and care if there is no chance of bringing you back. In summary, CPR is great and everyone should learn how to do it, it does save lives. But, if a doctor suggests it should not be performed, please give serious thought to that. We don't suggest a DNA CPR for no reason. Teeth are the most disrespected body part. A healthy set is as important as a healthy heart. Infective endocarditis is a thing too. Edit, my patients also don't seem to realize that healthy and clean teeth makes you look much younger than you actually are. Sadly, even if you have health insurance in the US, the teeth are treated as some kind of bastard stepchild, as if they're not a vital goddamned part of the human body. I don't know why the fuck I need a separate dental policy. Are my teeth not part of my overall body? That there is a wide range of normal. Don't be embarrassed by your body. Having said that, if you are concerned about anything, ask your doctor. We have generally heard it all before, and trust me, we have nearly always seen it all before. Maybe you have something that has been bothering you for ages, but you were too scared or embarrassed to ask about it. Just ask. It might be nothing, and you have been stressing about it for no reason. And if not, then you are at least one step closer to getting it fixed. No one can help if they don't know. There are no stupid questions, so ask away. I'm always amazed when I have been asked about something that has been bothering a patient for years and years, but they were too embarrassed, scared to bring it up. Most of the time, it is nothing, a completely normal body function, feature. Other times, it is something that should have been discussed right away. You know your body best. So speak up. Don't wait for the doctor to ask the right question. I'm not a doctor, but as someone that works with those who may be in a psychotic break. Get sleep. Most psychosis happens because someone haven't had slept or haven't had good sleep for extended periods of time. Some people just need 20 straight hours of sleep and then they never end up in a psychiatric hospital ever again. And don't just randomly stop your medication because you feel better. You feel better because you have consistent amount of whatever is leveled in your body now. And now that your body is hitting equilibrium, everything is going great, so keep doing what you're doing. I've seen people go on and off their medications for years and it really starts to mess up your body if you do that for too long. Tell us what drugs and alcohol you're on. We aren't gonna tell the cops. We aren't gonna lecture you. But it might change the anesthesia I give you. Some stuff I give you might kill you. If you drink a 30-pack a day, tell me. Not a doctor, but I'll do have some advice. If you're ever short of breath and it's unexplained, not running while being a fat smoker like me. Go see a drive. Now. For about 4 days prior to this past Christmas, 2018, my wife, F29, was short of breath and felt generally crummy. We didn't think it was anything but a cold, allergies, etc. Christmas Day she felt worse, didn't move much. So I told her that if she doesn't show improvement by the next morning, December 26, 18, yes, the dates are important, you'll see why. That I would be forcing her to go to the ER and get checked out. She didn't have any improvement. Only worse. I took her to the ER around 4 p.m. that day. When they took her back and got her hooked up, she was at 40 to 45% O2 saturation. Which is bad. She was then sent by ambulance to the nearest hospital with an ICU. For any doctors in the house, there was about a golf ball size part of her lungs that showed black on the X-ray, the rest was white. By 10 p.m. that day she had dropped to 10 to 15% O2 saturation and was immediately put on a ventilator and was kept asleep for 2 weeks. She was, at most, a few hours from dying. She had pneumonia and sepsis in both lungs. Due to the amount of meds they gave her, and being dehydrated already, her kidneys took a hard hit. She had dialysis 6 times in the hospital. After 37 days in the hospital, 14 of which she was in and out of consciousness, she remembers not being able to talk and trying to write some stuff on a paper. She was released. Last week, July 1st-ish, we got blood work back that her kidneys were finally back to 99.6% function. Edit, the good news is that at our local hospital you can check into the ER online and they'll take you back pretty much as soon as you get there. Even though I'm pretty certain they would have done that not having checked in. I'm not an MD, I'm an RN. Here's some real advice: do not let yourself grow old and obese. I will forego any talk of high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, that's inside stuff, and while I'm well educated on it, I want to talk of the outside stuff that will make your life miserable. I'm talking arthritis, skin breakdown, lack of hygiene, and the depression that goes along with it. The arthritis starts because your bone structure is in no way designed to carry 3 to 4 times the normal body weight. The joints wear down, the bone spurs develop, the spinal stenosis kicks in, and you find that every movement is an orchestra of multiple different minor but irritating pains all shooting off at once. You can't get out of bed or up from a chair without several body parts giving out little screams of pain. You will get used to it, but you will not like it. And you will start moving less and less. You'll start weighing the decision to get up and go do some social activity versus the pain it will cause you, and at some point, the pain wins out and you start going out less and less. In the most extreme cases, you will start to alter how to go to the bathroom or clean yourself because a trip to the toilet and all the maneuvering it takes will just be too much. As you start to move less and less, you start to clean yourself less and less, and the skin excoriation and fungal infections start to form in your various folds and crevices. You also have trouble fully wiping after a bowel movement, or you spill a little on yourself as you've adapted to using urinals instead of the toilet. Eventually, your lack of movement and inability to clean yourself and exposure to bodily fluids leads to various ulcers that are painful and take a long time to heal. In the worst cases, you can get a pressure ulcer that doesn't go away, is constantly exposed to fecal material, an infection starts, and you eventually go septic and end up in the ICU. So with this lack of movement and ability to fully clean self comes the obvious result of just smelling bad. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but the lack of hygiene will cause friends and family to avoid coming over, or going places with you, or just having any social contact beyond a phone call. The isolation will escalate, the depression will increase, your world becomes smaller and smaller, and you just hate yourself for the trap you're in. It sucks, but other people can only take so much. And on top of it all, even at rest, you won't be comfortable. You can't breathe properly when sleeping, so you get a CPAP at home, and while that takes care of properly oxygenating yourself while at rest, the aching joints and muscle spasms will prevent you from ever having a satisfying sleep again. You will always be tired. This just exacerbates all the problems I just mentioned. And in the end, severe depression. Severe self-hate. Feeling trapped in a body that's become a prison, and at your age there's no way out. You're isolated, you're alone, and the friends and family you do have avoid visiting. When they do come around, you have to either ask them for help with all the things you've neglected to do because you physically can't, which they start to see coming, so they up and leave, or just don't come by at all, or you just sit there and have a sad conversation that dances around the elephant in the room that is what's become of your life. It's sad, just all around sad. So I didn't write this to be an asshole, I wrote it because I see these types of people in the hospital and in home care regularly. In America, the obesity epidemic is so prevalent, and it affects every aspect of a person's life. Obesity is a prison cell in and of itself. Now, as an RN and as a human being, I'm not trying to judge you for why it happened, it is what it is, but please, if you are seriously overweight or obese, now is the day to start doing something about it. Do not wait any longer. Do not hope for a magic cure. Do not deny what is happening. Make the changes, you are worth it. Edit, thank you for gold. I want to really make sure that my post is not causing anyone shame or giving them regret or anything negative. My intention is just to be real about something I see daily and wish I didn't. I myself am no paragon of health, and in my teens, 20s, and early 30s, I ate and drank like a beast and my body paid for it. However, like a lot of people, I started having issues. For me, it was heartburn and bad sleep, and quite frankly a lack of sex drive. But with small but consistent actions I have bettered my health over a long period. It's not a race, it's a marathon, and although the results are not immediate, they are coming if you stay the course. Obviously not a doctor, but I work in an emergency room. We aren't going to call the cops if you're on drugs, we need to know so we don't give you medication that when mixed with said drugs will kill you. Example, if you're high on heroin, a depressant, and you're flippin' out, we can't give you Ativan or Benadryl cause it can literally stop your breathing and or heart. My medic just gave you naloxone and you responded with increased respiration rate and a return of consciousness. Yeah. So you were doing heroin, right? No, I just took a couple Xanax. Well, naloxone only really works on opiates. Okay, yeah. So you were taking opiates. No, I just took a couple Xanax. I had a case on the 4th overnight in which 3 people overdosed on what they thought was morphine. Turns out when you buy drugs on the street it can have extra things in it for free. Alcohol is really bad for you. I understand that ritualistic consumption of the poison has been part of almost every society for thousands of years, but that absolutely does not change just how terrible it is for your body. You may think, I binge drink all the time and I'm fine. I come from a long line of heavy drinkers. It's just some booze, I've never gotten sick from it. But boy howdy, do you not realize what it does to your body. By binge drinking, you run the risk of developing stomach bleeds, intestinal bleeds, pancreatitis both acute and chronic, liver disease and/or liver failure, alcoholism, heart failure, seizures, stroke, osteoporosis, lung failure. The list goes on. Every time you have more than a few drinks in a night, you are essentially juggling hand grenades hoping that they don't go off. There is just no reason to do that to your body. Having 4 drinks spread out over a few hours can be just as fun as having 10 drinks in the same time span, and you're not putting yourself at risk for massive organ failure and making yourself look like an idiot. Disclaimer, not a doctor. Was an alcoholic, got very sick from alcohol, suffered serious organ damage from it, am now sober. Take care of your kidney. If your renal function is shot, it closes the door on so many options. Edit. A lot of people asked about how to take care of your kidneys. I suppose this just shows that we need to learn to take care of all parts of our body more. The most important thing is to care for your cardiovascular health. Healthy arteries and healthy kidneys are strongly correlated. For most Americans this would require an adjustment to their diet and lifestyle. Most people would also do well to increase water consumption and reduce salt intake. If you have diabetes or SLE, your kidney health pretty much determines your expectancy, so have a conversation with your doctor. Other than this, regular self-examination and health examinations can be very beneficial. Changes in urinary patterns? Bubbles in your urine that won't pop? Does your urine smell sweet? Talk to your family physician. Do you have a family history of PCKD or whatnot? Think about getting regular ultrasound examinations of your kidney every few years. This one is more about medication. Antibiotics only work against bacteria, they are not some kind of wonder potion that cures anything, and they should not always be given. Please stick to your prescription the doctor gives you. Even if you already feel better, don't just stop unless the doctor says you can stop. A lot of medication needs to be taken according to the prescription in order for it to be effective, because you build up the doses to an effective level. Stopping or not sticking to it really decreases effectivity. That a large majority of the population's mouths have the capability to shut. Having wet hair in a cold room will not make you sick. We know you didn't slip and fall into that cucumber, other phallic object. High blood pressure doesn't have symptoms majority of the time. It's called the silent killer and causes a plethora of other illnesses. Edit. I got quite a bit of replies, and I didn't think I would since I replied so late. So I feel like I should edit this. I'm not a doctor, I'm in nursing school right now. However, we've learned how bad high BP is. It's very easy to get screened and I recommend getting it done. My mom tells her teen patients' parents a lot that the acne isn't the teen's fault but runs in the genes sometimes when it's bad. I have seen a change in attitude a bit re teen acne, but this attitude was very prevalent when I was a kid. It was, too bad, it's genetic, you'll grow out of it. My parents wouldn't even take me to the doctor because they felt this way. I had horrible cystic acne and it got worse once I started my period. It really hurts a kid's self-esteem. I was a gawky, skinny kid with glasses who didn't hit puberty until quite late. Having a swollen face full of pimples wasn't fun. That psychological states may infuse bodily symptoms, and that saying so isn't dismissing that the symptoms exist. In males, there is a vestigial remnant of the uterus located in the prostate. It's called the prostatic utricle. It is a duct that leads nowhere. It sometimes has some remote endometrium in it and can produce 1 drop of blood every 28 days. Source: embryology professor in med school. So yeah, guys can get PMS too. But it's probably better to call it BMS, or bromenstrual syndrome. I am not a doctor, but I am taking a physiology class, and our instructor, who is a doctor, gave everyone an extra credit project where we learned that wearing high-heeled shoes contributes to osteoarthritis of the knee. So I assumed that would be her answer. Holy shit, this needs to be a PSA, kids, stop getting those magnet piercings on your mouth. Every week a dozen idiots come in swallowing them. Once in a blue moon we have to take them to theater, open them up and fish them out. The issue is if they don't come out by you shitting them, there's a risk they make a hole in your bowel, fistula, and it becomes an emergency. That's why we'd rather fish them out before we have to cut out bits of your bowel. How to eat healthy. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. Especially the teenagers who I take care of. Sometimes I will ask them, what's a healthy food your doctor wants you to eat? Rarely do I get a right answer. I feel like the internet has so many fad diets, and family members rarely cook, so families don't know basic nutrition facts. There is no cure for cancer, as it is traditionally thought about. Cancer is a class of many very different diseases, each with very specific causes, i.e. some molecule that went wrong allowing a cell to multiply out of control. Even within the same type of cancer, i.e. lung cancer, there are many types of lung cancer, such as small cell, large cell, squamous cell, etc. Even within the same subtype of cancer, there can be different molecular mechanisms that caused it, requiring different approaches to treatment. Looking for the cure for cancer is like looking for the cure for disease. That gut health is so important in terms of overall health. Nurture that shit. Your body will tell us if you have done drugs, alcohol, or tobacco in the recent past. Please don't lie about it. We don't care about the usage as much as we need to know what route of care to prepare for with prescriptions and diagnoses. Trying to make it alkaline is a load of woo nonsense. There are plenty of basic people in the world as is. No need to add more. Asses aren't food. Lies. Not a doctor, but I managed a private practice for a couple of years in California. The reason we ask for your biological sex and not what gender you identify as in your form is not because the doctor is a bigot whateverphobic, but because men and women require different dosages for several drugs, and there are drugs that women can take that would kill a man and vice versa. Also, because we have to know what tests and checkups you will need. For example, if you changed sex from a man to a woman, you still need a prostate exam because the inside of your body will always be that of a male human. Cancer doesn't give a damn. Not a doctor, but that period blood doesn't come from the egg itself, but from the shedding of the uterus lining. I have talked to way too many people who believe that the blood comes from the egg itself, and I just think it goes to show how much the sex ed program needs to be modified. Edit wording and remove the term pre-med. Your dick can break. I remember a story on Reddit about a guy who went to the doctor and complained that when he breaks his dick in the morning it hurt more than usual. When the doctor understandably asked what, the man explained that every morning since he was a teen he'd grab his dick in the morning during morning wood, bend it till he hears a snap and then go about his day. He thought it was normal. What the fuck? What the fuck? How do I delete someone else's comment? Unsubscribe. Vaccines don't cause autism. Thanks for watching our video. If you like it, please smash the subscribe and like button to support the channel so that we can create more quality content in the future.